Historically, we have started with the anonymity of the donor that did not exist. It was just the sperm and the egg that was donated, and the identity of the donor did not have any importance. Now we see that children born after donation, who are now 30, 40 years old, they are looking for their origins, for their identity. It's important for their development. So we have a lot of psychological studies showing that this is important for the child. So the report tried to look at the balance between the interests, the rights, if you wish, of the donors, of the intended parents, and of the children. And we could only come to one conclusion from a human rights perspective, a child rights perspective, that is, that the anonymity was really a breach of the rights of the child. We need to waive this anonymity. Waive means that we have to stop treating patients, infertile patients, or whoever with donor sperm or eggs from anonymous donors. In the future, states really should change their legislation, and we leave it open how they do that, but change legislation so that anonymous sperm and eggs will not be used anymore in the future. That is the main message of the report. There are, of course, medical reasons if there are some risks involved, but also under the current EU directives. So for EU member states, there is already the need for traceability. So in case of medical problems, already today, the donor can be traced, although it will happen through the clinic and the donor will have to remain anonymous. So this is not the main objective of changing legislation. The main objective is really for the psychological and the identity development of the child. Initially, there will be a drop, because if you have only anonymous donors and from today until tomorrow you change the law, these donors cannot be used, you don't have others. But in countries that have made that switch, we see that after the initial drop, you get another pool of donors, sperm donors, egg donors, that agree with the disclosure of their identity at a certain age of the child, of course, not immediately. So you get another type of donors instead. And in some countries, this has worked well. In others, there have not been sufficient efforts to find the number of donors needed. And also you have other indications for the use of donor gametes, and I'm mainly thinking about single women, for instance, or lesbian couples who are indeed growing as a group of patients in certain countries where the treatment is allowed. And so you need more donors, of course, to help these couples and these women as well. So it is an equilibrium between what you have as a supply and as a demand on the other side. And I think it's up to states to be sure that there is a sufficient supply of donors for the demand in that country.